What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be discussing if new GM Darren Mougey pulled off highway robbery this offseason, because following yesterday's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, all of these guys played fantastic. Justin Fields, Armand Membou, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Tanner Engstrand, and then the guy who filled in at center yesterday, Josh Myers. And we can start off with Justin Fields. Them being able to sign this guy for a 2-year, $40 million contract, it's looking like a bargain deal at this point. Now, if you asked other fans, how did Justin Fields, or what did you think about this contract? People are saying they overpaid him, giving him $30 million guaranteed for a guy who really hasn't proven much throughout his NFL career. Well, he proved a lot yesterday, and he was fantastic against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, the completion percentage, 72.7, threw for 218 yards, had 48 yards on the ground, and found the end zone a total of 3 times. And my favorite part right here, no turnovers, no interceptions or fumbles for Justin Fields. But I thought he looked great in the pocket yesterday. We always talk about Fields being like his Achilles heel to his game is that he holds on to the ball way too long. But that wasn't the case yesterday. And even when he did hold on to the ball a little too long, that was for him to navigate the pocket, step up in the pocket, and he always kept his eyes downfield. And his spray chart from yesterday's game, one of the most ethical spray charts I think I've seen. I mean, first off, look at the middle of the field. We always talk about Fields. Can he attack that part of the football field? Well, he did yesterday. Perfect over the middle of the field. Obviously, he had that one deep shot that Garrett Wilson, which looked fantastic. And overall, just played a fantastic game. Whether it was checking the ball down, like I said, attacking the middle of the field, attacking outside the numbers. Like, everything was clicking for Fields. And, the raw numbers look great. The eye tests look great for Fields. But even the advanced analytics, his passing grade yesterday was 90.4. That's the highest in the National Football League so far before Monday night and the highest of his career. His EPA per attempt, 0.68. That's the highest of his career. And then his adjusted completion percentage, 88.9. That's the third highest of his career. So this was, in my opinion, the best game he has ever played. And I already see people kind of declaring Justin Fields the franchise quarterback. And in my opinion, I think it's too early to declare Fields as that caliber of quarterback, but this was a perfect start to his tenure with the New York Jets. I don't want to discredit anything he did yesterday, but we also saw, just dating back to the preseason, he looked great against the Green Bay Packers. Then he did struggle against the New York Giants. He's a very streaky football player, but I think with Engstrand and just this whole Jets organization buying into him and building around him, I think we should see more consistency. And if he is just 90% of what he was yesterday throughout the entire season, yes, that is a franchise quarterback. Because yesterday, he was probably a top 5 quarterback across all teams that played. I think he had one of the best QB performances, obviously outside of the masterclass we saw last night of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. But Fields looked amazing, and I'm happy for him because he proved a lot of people wrong. This guy, people love taking shots at him. People love, making jokes with him being the end of the joke. So I'm happy for him. So if you guys want to show him some love, type those 7s down below in the comment section. Now, the guy that impressed me by far the most yesterday, let's talk about some Armand Membou. And Mr. TJ Watt, you got put on your ass a couple of times by a 21-year-old rookie. I was saying before this game, this is probably going to be Membou's welcome to the NFL moment. Turns out it might be TJ Watt's welcome to the NFL moment because he pitched a shutout against number 90, and PFF graded him out damn near perfectly. His overall grade in his rookie debut against TJ Watt. This is not like he's going up against, some scrub on the other side. He's going up against the top 3 pass rusher in the NFL, and he had an 89 overall grade, 90.3 in the run block, 78.6 in the pass block, and 0 pressures allowed, and that all came in 64 snaps total. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or get like a hot take out there to grab headlines. I think there is a good chance that Armand Membou could be an all-pro right tackle year 1. He looked that dominant yesterday. He pitched a shutout against TJ Watt. He was mauling people in the run game. He had this one play. He had a defensive tackle lined up a shoulder pad inside. He got all the way inside, completely cleared him out on a massive Breece Hall run. It was truly one of the most impressive debuts from a right tackle I have ever seen. And again, not trying to be hyperbolic, this guy could be one of the best tackles in the league immediately because he played like that yesterday going up against a premier edge rusher in TJ Watt. But if you guys agree with me, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. An all-pro in year 1 would be high honor for Armand Membou, but What say you on this one? Will Armand Membou be an all-pro his rookie season? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no down below. Now, coming up next on the show, got to talk about the faces of the franchise, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and talk about Tanner Engstrand. He had a masterful performance yesterday, and then also Josh Myers. But quickly, all right, let's talk some Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Both these guys had a great game yesterday, and, there was a lot of noise around these two players. And, they got hefty contracts this offseason, and once you get those hefty contracts, expectations go through the roof. And, Mougey signing these guys, one Sauce Gardner to a 4-year, $120 million deal, that put a lot of pressure on Sauce. Highest paid cornerback in NFL history, you got to go play like it. And same with Garrett Wilson, getting 4 years, $130 million. This is $250 million between the two of these guys. And what did Garrett Wilson do? What did Sauce Gardner do? Had some of the best games of their NFL careers, in my opinion. And obviously the stat sheet for Garrett Wilson isn't going to blow you away. I understand that one drop late in the game when Ramsey completely smoked them on that. But Wilson getting majority of the attention on every single pass opportunity for the Jets. He played awesome. 7 receptions, 95 yards, had that touchdown where he completely burned the corner on that beautifully thrown ball by Justin Fields. And I think what you saw from Garrett Wilson is the baseline of what it's going to be throughout the entire season. I think he's going to have a very, very big time year. I could see him, going for 1,200, 1,300 yards, especially if Fields is playing this well. So all types of love to Garrett Wilson. But the guy that, played his absolute tail off yesterday, Sauce Gardner, he was traveling all across the field on DK Metcalf, which we talked about. I was curious if they were just going to stick Sauce on DK or if they're going to put like Brandon Stevens on DK and give him all types of help. They just said, Sauce, you got him. 36 coverage snaps. Only had the ball thrown his way 4 times, which is probably the most ridiculous stat you see up here. And then they did count him as 1 reception allowed. That was on that fluky DK Metcalf, tipped up play. Should be a 3rd PBU for Sauce, but his coverage grade, 90.5. He played fantastic. And, yesterday for the Jets, top to bottom, the blue chippers looked like blue chippers. And I do think we could question the depth on this roster 100%. Like Tony Adams and Brandon Stevens, they're probably not playing for 80% of NFL teams. But the blue chippers on this team, like Quinnen Williams had a great game. Will McDonald had a great game. Justin Fields had a great game. And the same with Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Armand Membou. Like all the marquee players for this Jets team in 2025, they all played like it. So shout out to Sauce and shout out to Garrett. But a massive shout out to this guy right here, offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand. He was in his bag yesterday. And keep in mind, there's context to everything. This was his first time ever calling plays in the NFL, and you're going against Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, and a Steelers defense, and he almost hung 400 yards on him with a guy like Justin Fields at quarterback, who everybody was telling me before the game, this guy is terrible. He can't throw the football. And also the Jets last season averaged 91 rushing yards per game. They doubled that up yesterday against the Steelers front, 182 rushing yards, dominated time of possession, 3rd down, very efficient, 7 of 14, and he had 23 first downs. It was a masterful performance out of Engstrand. And I just feel like the Jets all day yesterday, they're playing ahead of the sticks. They were building off plays from the previous drive. It was just full go. It was a smooth operation. So a massive shout out to him. But the only negative, and I know this is a typical Monday overreaction take here, could this guy get a head coaching job? Like, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic when I say this. Like, Ben Johnson wanted him to follow him to Chicago to be the offensive coordinator. I am also shocked, Dan Campbell, with how much they struggled against the Packers yesterday in Green Bay, that he didn't try to retain this guy. But clearly Glenn wanted him, and it turned out to be a great decision by Aaron Glenn. Like, you're a defensive mind. You got to get that offensive coordinator position right, and I think he did with Engstrand. So shout out to Tanner. Masterful game plan yesterday, and he completely carved up that Steelers defense. But I do want to give a huge shout out to Josh Myers, and this goes back to Darren Mougey. With that AVT injury, it could have been really bad. But the fact that you were able to add just a slight depth piece in Josh Myers, where Josh Myers is never going to be, the best center in the league, but he can be a great stopgap guy, and he was that yesterday. He allowed 1 pressure, but graded out pretty damn well. And also a massive shout out to Tippmann here. Tippmann playing right guard yesterday. He only played right guard, I think it was less than 200 snaps before this game. He was fantastic. Him and Membou were mauling on the right side of the offensive line. 0 pressures are allowed. Had a pass blocking grade of 80.1 in 64 snaps. overall, the offensive line was fantastic, and I'm sure Tanner Engstrand was looking at what the Ravens did to the Bills last night with the dual threat quarterback getting downhill with the offensive line setting the tone. I'm sure he's going to take that game plan where the Ravens just dropped 40 in Buffalo on that Bills defense, and he should try to replicate it for this upcoming week. But overall, the Jets offense, great performance, great out of the blue chippers yesterday. I know it sucks that they're 0-1, but still, the process was there. The result is not what we wanted, but now we build off that. And if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just hit me with the Go Jets down below in the comment section. Appreciate you guys for watching today's edition of the Jets Report. See you guys next time. As always, Go Jets.